Hello, hello. Welcome to the Money is for You podcast in collaboration with Notable Wealth Management Inc. I am your host, Jacqueline Correa, your guide on this journey. Today we are celebrating International Women's Day 2025. And to celebrate this day, I have invited two friends to celebrate women in business. So to the left, we have beautiful Shaz from Shaz Wilderness. And to the right, we have Olu, who is a life coach. So Olu will tell us, they both will tell us a little bit of what they do, and we'll just get into the discussion. So Olu, give us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. I am a former senior law clerk turned motivational life coach, certified motivational life coach and speaker, founder of the Let's Talk Women's Conference, and a small business startup consultant. My journey and my transition, I should say, from law clerk to life coach came about after I went through my own personal journey with mental health. After going on sick leave in July of 2022, realizing pretty shortly after that I wasn't going to go back to work, the question became, what next? After consulting with my Heavenly Father, my guide, life coach was what he showed me. Having a women's conference is what he showed me. I had my first women's conference last April of 2024. Mm-hmm. It was a resounding success. And even I am surprised and blessed and honored to say I am now planning my second women's conference for April 26, 2025.
Awesome. And also, you have almost 2 decades as a legal.
Almost 3 decades as a law clerk.
Wow.
I was over 25 years. I keep trying to do the math, and I think it's closer to 30 than it is to 25 years.
Nice.
Did it for a long time. Loved it at the beginning. Really, really, really enjoyed it. And then it became very tiring after a while. It's a very high pressure job.
Right.
And when you're like me, taking care of everybody else, that's what I did. That's how I ended up on sick leave. Is I took care of everybody else but me, completely ignored myself, but was the best employee. Best law clerk, best daughter. Well, I'm sure my mom will say I'm the best daughter, but I try. Mother, daughter, friend, what have you. And everybody else's health and happiness was more important to me than my own.
And then we have to the left, beautiful Miss Shaz from Shanaz Wilderness. Wellness.
I'm in the wilderness.
Actually, we all kind of are.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, what do you do, and how we can get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So my journey started because I had a lot of health issues growing up, a lot of stomach issues. I was fainting, I had a lot of acne that doctors couldn't explain and understand what was going on wrong with me. So once I kind of exhausted the Western medicine, I learned that I had to take my health into my own hands. And then I learned about holistic healing and the power of nutrition and the power of herbs and supplements. And so as I learned to heal myself, I shared to the world that journey, and a lot of people were suffering as well. So then I got to go to school for nutrition, and I have a degree in kinesiology. So then I got to expand and then offer my services to the world in helping other people heal.
Awesome. So I actually did your biography.
Appreciate
it kind of helped. And I'm going to give you a little bit more that she's not sharing. Okay. First, let me say she is my daughter-in-law. So I've known this young lady for
14 years.
Wow, 14 years. And the funny thing is I'm very proud of her. And I say that in a way because I always talk about we have to be very careful of the words we speak. And I always remember her standing on my stairs, pushing her young head, because she was still in university at the time, through the stairs to the living room, telling me that I would have my business, I would be working from home, and I will raise my children. And I don't even think you were 21, 22.
I was probably that exact age. Yeah.
But this young lady has done exactly, the universe has brought everything that she said she would do. And I'm very big about the words we speak because they're very powerful. And to see her where she's at today, and I always remember that when I see her on social media and whatnot, I always remember the words she spoke. She wasn't graduated from university yet, but she told me that it was what she was going to do. She was going to have her business. She was going to work from home, and she was going to raise her kids at home without any nannies. And she's doing that. So again, that is to just tell you how powerful words are. But into going on to a little bit, and as we are celebrating women in business, one of the things that I also, because I creep her page quite frequent, she has 467,000 followers on TikTok, and on Instagram, 45,000 on her Instagram. Because one of the things I also is that, you know, for me, I'm considered the maturity, the Gen Zing. So when we build business, when I built my business, it was all about getting on the phone one at a time, talking to people in the streets, talking to, you know, and so I built my business with some cold calling, just referrals, whatnot. But here you are as a millennial, you've literally built a digital business online. Your entire followers and your business has come from digital. And I just, you know, it is so important for us all to intermingle, just because, you know, millennials can teach me things that I would never know to do. Because as I said, I built a business where you had to be on the phone. You build a business where you share everything on social, like through content. So I just think that is just so amazing how, you know, we've transitioned over time. Right. And so you had also, so those were the two things that kind of fascinated me. The way you've transitioned and how because I remember when you started on YouTube. Yeah. And then you grew into this. So that's pretty amazing. So I'm actually going to ask a couple questions in the sense of, you know, what motivated you to start this business? And I mean, I know you've transitioned, but I know you transitioned from a job and then you started the business. Like, you know, and I mean, even though you spoke it, you didn't actually start it as an entrepreneur. You actually had a job. Yeah. Right. So what motivated you to transition?
Yeah. So like you talked about, like I did know one day I'd have a business, but at that time I was with acne. I was really suffering at 21 with my health. And I think that's great. That inspires me to remember that I had that vision back then, because I didn't remember that. But yeah, I did have a job. And then I actually just like asked for signs from the universe, from God, being like, if I already knew I was better than the job that I was at, I was stuck at a salary that didn't make sense for me. I was really serving people and helping people, but I felt stuck. And then I got pregnant with my first. And then when I was on maternity leave, they actually let me go. And then at the time I was like, that was my sign. And I knew like, I'm better than this job. I wasn't supposed to go back, but it was very scary. We were just going into COVID. My husband didn't have a job. I obviously didn't have a job at the time too. So I knew that like I had to go for this 1,000%, and that was my time. So it was in 2020 when everyone was on social media. So I did really leverage in that market where people were at home and had money to invest into their health. So I just took advantage of that and I started posting, and that's when I gained most of my audience. Right. Yeah.
So you also have 2 books, right? Two online books.
Yeah, I actually transitioned to e-courses.
Okay, e-courses. Yeah. Okay. And so, you know, if you are currently have a job, like one of the things that I teach basically as a wealth builder, because I'm strongly believe that, and I don't take me the wrong way, because I know we all have to survive and we have to do what we have to do. And so one of the things that I actually tell my clients is that even though you have a job, in each of us, there is a gift. And that gift is so dying to come out, because we were never made to do 9 to 5, to trade our time. Like what we do when we have a job, we're giving up our labor for, you know, giving up our time for somebody to tell us how much we're worth. Right. And I know this is how we were trained. So one of the things that I would always say to my clients, I don't want you to just go out and get another job or get like, you know, your nurse at one hospital and go get another nurse job at another hospital, because all you're doing is giving more taxes to the government. But if you can take that second job and make it to become, if it is your passion, take the second job and make it something where it's a contract or create it as a business where they're now paying you, or start, you know, a nursing center or something, that it becomes your own, right? Because the thing about it is that one way of building business is building wealth is having a business. And if you can have something that you can grow old with, and it's never a job, it becomes fun. It's like you now in a sand pit and you're playing as a kid, right? That's what us as entrepreneurs do. Like it's not a job for us. I mean, it's hard work. Don't get us wrong. We work hard, and this is the building stage. But if you ever sat and talked to a business owner or an entrepreneur, they will tell you, this is the joy. I do this 7 days a week, and I'm so happy doing it because it's not a job. I'm not saying, oh God, tomorrow sucks. Monday come in and Monday sucks, right? As people that have a job, it comes with stress, but it comes with a lot of fun in the process, right? What were some of the, like, I know you transitioned from
law clerk
to this. What were some of your challenges, like in this transition? Like, I know as much you've done this, what are some of the things, and I don't like to use the word fear, but what are some of the things that may have hold you back? Because our audience would want to know those things of, like, they may have a passion right now or a dream, or they may want to do that. But what are some of the things that they can look forward to? Because I mean, one of the things I find people tell the world how everything is great, but nobody talks about the struggles we go through to get to the success, right?
There are challenges. There are moments of doubt. I'm a believer, and I still have moments of doubt. For me, the decision was made for me. I didn't come to a place where I said, I'm going to quit my job in 2022, and I'm going to focus on being a life coach. Didn't quite work that way for me. I had heard, someone had said to me several years ago, before life coaches were a thing, you'd make a great life coach. And not wanting to embarrass myself by saying, well, what's that? I went, oh, really? Wow, thank you. And then when I looked it up, that was years and years and years ago. Fast forward to 2022, I had my cleaning business, which I shut down during COVID. And I had my t-shirt and sweatshirt business, which was spiritual and motivational sayings. Find myself on sick leave, which probably surprised me more than anybody else. I am this strong Black woman. Are you kidding me? I can handle anything. What do you mean? I'm highly depressed and high anxiety, and it didn't make any sense to me, but I was all those things. And saying to my Heavenly Father, okay, what do I do now? I have to do something. I don't see myself going back to a regular 9 to 5. Been there, done that. I'm done with that. But I got to live. I got to eat. I got bills to pay. And he said to me, well, you're a life coach, and you can combine the life coach business with the spiritual motivational merchandising business. And I went, oh, why didn't I think about that? That seems so obvious. And then the part that surprised me is when he said, have a women's conference. That surprised me. It's never something I ever thought about. And that's where the challenges come in.
But that's your gift, though.
Yes. And you tell me that all the time.
Because I've seen you at the church.
Yeah.
And so I don't think she realized. And I think this is where, we do certain things over the years, and we do it and we not even thinking about it. Like, because I mean, both ladies here, that is, as I said, these are my friends, right? I've watched them over the years that, I've seen their gifts. Olu could work a church room like there's no tomorrow, and she does not even know. She would be spinning around, and she's putting everybody's in order. So I could see you doing that, because that is where your gift is. You did the church. I mean, we had how much? 2,000 people?
Yeah, at one point, yeah.
And so,
1,500, 2,000.
yeah, I mean, we went from 100 to 2,000, and you had that whole room spinning. Everybody knew you, right? And you knew how to organize that whole front area and got it. So it is part of your gift.
But when you do it for yourself, and I think you're gonna say the same thing about you, is when you find yourself in that space, because you have to be. Neither one of us sat back and said, okay, in so-and-so year, this is what I'm going to do. She did it out of a need, and I did it out of a need.
And I did too.
And you did it out of a need. And I just follow what God told me to do. Even though I understood the life coach part, okay, get it. People are always coming to me, and I've been told that I listen and I'm fair. And so I get that part. And although I can talk very well among my family and friends, you know me, I'm the center of attention at your house. Me speaking in front of a group of women that paid to come and hear me speak did not resonate with me at all.
It's
Right.
imposter syndrome that happens when you become an entrepreneur.
Right.
It's being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur is the most spiritual thing you can do because you have to actually choose you every single
Oh,
day.
amen.
And then when those fears come in,
Yeah.
that's when imposters, you're like, people are actually paying me to speak. It
Right.
doesn't
Like,
feel
who's
right.
going to want to hear
Right.
me
Mhm.
speak? And God said to me, you plan it and I'll send the people. My first conference was planned within a week. I'm talking venue, guest speakers,
Wow.
Jeff. I would have friends call me say, I know you're really, really, really busy. I just want to ask you a quick question. I said, but what am I busy doing? And they're like,
You know,
aren't you planning a conference? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's been planned. And that's what, but I thank you for saying that, because that's exactly what I went through. I didn't feel worthy enough, but I didn't feel
Right.
worthy enough, honestly speaking, when I was a law clerk.
Wow.
At least once a week, I would say to myself, this is the day they're going to fire me, when they figure out that I
Oh,
don't know what I'm
wow.
doing.
Wow. So it's funny that you said that, because I had that feeling
Mhm.
in 2020 when we actually, here I was set up at home, which is everything I prayed for. And I was working from home and I did my first deal online and I couldn't believe that I was getting paid for it. Because I didn't drive across Toronto and sat in that living room. It's like,
and work for somebody else who's going to tell you how much
right,
that particular
right.
thing is
But
worth.
so I like now I'm
Mm.
just that's the only way I do business is from home.
Mm.
But that was the first thought when I got that first check after closing the deal online. I'm like, but I got paid for this, but I didn't go anywhere. Right? It's just how we sabotage ourselves.
Yeah.
But it's again, these are things that we grow through. It's a process, right? So how do you balance? Because this is like this in your case, you're a young mom. How do you balance life? You know, being a mom and transition, because as a
Mom, wife,
yeah, because
entrepreneur.
we have bills to pay, right? And it's not just the fact that you know that paycheck is going to come to you every 2 weeks. Is that you do have to do your hustle. So how do you balance life? If somebody wanted to come into be an entrepreneur, like how do you balance being a mom, having a husband, and then still having to provide as a provider there, where you paying the bills?
Yeah.
Homemaker.
Yes. At first there was no balance, to be honest. When you have the creative vision and you know what you need to do and the bills need to be paid, me and my partner didn't have time together. It was we did what we needed to for our child, and then every night I would work. As soon as he would sleep, I would work till like 1 a.m. Because I needed to build a website. I needed to start everything. But then as I was building, I had to keep working smarter, not harder. Because once my imposter syndrome left and I've served people, I know I'm the best person for that person who comes to me, and I know I can help them. I had to learn to just keep using the internet and social media and find ways to make the little menial tasks. As an entrepreneur, like the assistant things you don't need to do. So I hired someone to do those things. Any like millionaire books, they always say those things. Like you have to be the face and the head of your business and do the important jobs, the coaching, but the little emailing and all that stuff, I had to learn either to set it up automatically so it's done without my attention, or hire someone to do that. And that's what I did. Because my time is very valuable and I do really love spending time with my kids, which is also why I didn't want to just send them to daycare at 8 months old. I knew I wanted to be with them. So that's what I had to do.
I do some of that thing too. I know when my empire, I say this all the time, and I'm choosing my words very carefully. When my empire explodes, I want to have people in place.
But
I don't
your
want to have
empire
to start
already explode.
Thank you. I don't want to have to start hiring people. So people say to me all the time, okay, but you're not bringing in the money yet. I'm like, money's going to come. I'm not worried about that. I know it's going to come. And they're like, but you pay for a studio to do your lives, and you pay a brand manager to do your postings. And I said, yeah, because when I get to that point when I really am busy, I don't want to be then looking for somebody and just hiring the first person that comes along, because I don't have the time to find the right person. So I've got my people in place already, and I don't want to be working on Sunday and Mondays. I want to work smarter, not harder, and I want to have days off for myself. I want to really practice what I preach, which is prioritizing self-care. So what I do is I don't respond to emails at night or on the weekends. So if you email me anytime after 5 o'clock on a Friday, I'll read it and I may respond, but I save it in my draft. I'm not going to hit send. Monday morning when I wake up, I just release everything that I've done over the weekend because I want that space. And if I don't want to respond to the email till Monday, then I won't do it till Monday. But doing it on the weekend allows me the time to if I have some free time on the weekend, I've done my laundry, done my shopping, done my cooking, my mom's okay. Because on top of everything else that I do, I'm the primary caregiver of my mom. She's 82, she's not very well, and she lives with me. So I have to navigate. So we both are in the
Right. I was just going to say
same
the
space.
sandwich.
Like,
Yes.
You have to navigate your kids. I have to
Yeah.
navigate my mom. Like
Right,
before I left,
right.
I'm like, Mom, you okay? Like, make sure she ate, sat with her, we watched some TV together, that kind of stuff. But it is a juggling act, but you become very good at it after a while. In the beginning, you're very hectic, you're scattered.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then after a while, you're like, okay, no. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. And I will say this before I pass it back to you, Jackie. All stuff's being said, the craziness and, the transition and juggling things, I'm the happiest I've ever been. The happiest I've ever been doing what you were born to do.
Yeah, I couldn't go back. For me, it's like I remember when it was like the third year or the second year, I got an actual offer from one of the agent that I had put out. And this funny thing is that they were offering me like 6 figures to go back to an office. And at the time I wasn't making 6 figures as self-employed. And I remember by the time he said, this is what we would offer you, I could see my whole body went into a dark place. And all I could think about was somebody telling me, are you in the bathroom again? Like, and I kind of like, ooh. So one of the things that I had to learn to do is, as I said, like, so I had to go back in time and run the numbers. When I ran the numbers, I was like, to go back to this, to go through the snow, to do all this, to get less money at the end, because the amount of taxes that I would have to pay as to have a 9 to 5, I'm going back a little bit of time in to say that in the sense of dollar wise, you give up your time for money. What were some of the challenges? I mean, because we're celebrating women in business, right? What were some of the things that did you find to be challenging in a sense when you were actually working the 9 to 5? One of the things that we hear currently a lot was women are still paid less than men.
Well, I got let go on maternity leave,
right?
Which is the most unethical thing to do. They made me train my replacement and hired her.
But I hope they packaged you out and or you sued.
Nothing.
Oh, you had a legal right.
But because I was a contractor, they had a loophole.
But there's also a loophole for you.
Well, at the time,
you probably didn't know.
Yeah,
but
I didn't know.
Yeah, there's a loophole because what they do that a lot. Employers do that a lot where they put you under contract. But it depends on how many hours you're working and how they're using you, where they cannot use that contract thing anymore. But of course, the milk's already spilled.
That's
We can't
okay.
do anything about that.
We've all been successful.
That is the challenge. Especially anytime a woman gets pregnant, you're looked at completely different right away.
Wow.
I have a lot of mom friends who have lost hours, lost jobs because of that, because they know a mom will always choose their children and not their job first anymore. And so that's how we're looked at. I think that was my biggest challenge. And a lot of women would say the same, that they're afraid to have kids because they know what it's going to mean for their job.
For someone like myself, coming from a law firm background, boy, do we ever see that every day of the week. Because back then, I don't know what it's like now, but when I started working at the law firms, the partner trail was about, on average, 6 years. So when you became an associate, you had about 6 years to make partner. If you were good, that was a trail. Well, if you're coming in as a young lawyer in your mid-20s, isn't 6 years your childbearing ages? Like by your late 20s, early 30s is when you want to start having a family, right? Well, they have to now choose between, do I get off the partner trail, have my kids, come back and hope I can just pick up where I left off, or do I wait, become a partner, and then have my kids? And some firms, I remember one of the firms I was working at, I won't name them, because that became a big thing in the news. It was coming out that women were saying, okay, this is not fair. We are the ones that carry babies. Men cannot.
Right. Yeah.
So why do we have to come off the partner trail? Men aren't.
Yeah.
They can just keep going and going. So one of the firms I worked at said, you know what? Fair point. So if you are going to be pregnant, if you want to have a child, and we understand the whole daycare thing and live-in nanny thing, you can work 9 to 5 hours. We get it. Like we won't expect you to do the long, crazy hours that lawyers typically do. 9 to 5 is fine. The problem with that is As you're walking in the door at 9 o'clock, you're getting this.
Mm.
As you're leaving at 5 o'clock, you're
So,
getting this. And
yes.
so all the women that signed up for that, every one of them ended up leaving.
But you saying that, I had that same thing.
Mhm.
It's like I remember having an upset stomach and going to the bathroom and have people knocking on the bathroom saying, "Are you in the bathroom again?" So it's just like I said. So the thing about it, I know one of the things that I actually, even when I sit with my clients, and I tell them, even, coming back to even my son, I remember my son arguing with me saying, "Why do I need this degree?" And we have transitioned from the industrial age into, we're now into the communication age. So, this is something that we all have to look at, especially if you're thinking about, you're in a job right now, and you're trying to figure out if I should stay here or should I go back to school and whatnot. This is why I say this is when you spend time with the I am, the power within you, your higher self to guide. Is like we started off when Shanez said she knew, her higher self knew that she was going to be a business owner. She had a gift. She didn't know at the time where that gift was going to take her, but she was still in university studying to do, because part of what you do is what you studied, right?
Yeah, I was studying to be a chiropractor actually,
Okay.
and then I switched.
Okay, so it's within that same family kind of.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to be into health and wellness.
Okay.
I just didn't know what health and wellness.
Can I ask you a question? Because my niece has just started doing that, not feeling well. And the females in my family are all big, like myself, heavy set. But my niece was more puffy than she was big.
Inflamed.
Right? And I remember she came by on Christmas Day. I didn't say anything to her, but I went, "Oh, Lord," in my head. Right? Because she just looked like she was just getting. So anyway, she comes to visit my mom for her birthday. My mom's birthday is January 11th. So remember, I said Christmas Day she came by. Look, January 11th, she walked in and I went, "Oh, wow, what happened to you?" And she said, "I got tired of the doctors. I got tired of me saying, I don't feel good. I feel like this. My chest feels like this. My heart feels like that. I don't have a neck anymore. Like I got tired of it." And so her nickname is Dr. TikTok. She knows, she says, "Aunt
That's
Lou."
how people find me.
Yeah. She's like, "Aunt Lou, I just went on there and I found out that she was insulin resistant, which meant that her hormones were unbalanced. You should hear this girl talk." I'm like, "I can't believe you're sitting here. We're not living in a big mansion of a house, because listen to you talk." And so she went to the health food store and said, "Insulin resistant, unbalanced hormones, blah, 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 blah." And they went, doom, doom, doom. And she walks in from December 25th to January 11th. I'm like, "You have a neck."
Yeah. That's the power. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I help women do all the time. That's what I do. I mean, you should even see a picture of me when I was 21.
Yeah. The acne.
Very inflamed.
But the foods that we eat, right? Remember that the foods that we eat has a lot to do. It's not like back home, like from where I come from, where we literally my dad would take the poo from the pigs and whatnot, put it as fertilizer into the earth. Like, it's all the natural stuff. And so everything was more natural. The fruits that we eat was natural.
Everything.
Here, there's so many things sprayed on everything. So the stuff that's going into our bodies, it's not natural. Like, even when you just come back from a trip in the island, I'm sure Brandon was able to eat certain things without even having to think twice. Because again, the stuff is all natural there. There's no spraying and so all of that creates the information in our body.
But it's also doctors not knowing what Shanez knows.
They do know.
They honestly, okay, I've learned to disrespect what they know, which is disease and medicine. That's it. If you don't have a disease, you don't fall in the category of you have diabetes, you have this. See, insulin resistance is not a disease. So they're not going to know how to treat you. They're not going to give you anything.
Right.
The only thing they will give young women is what? Birth control pill. That's it. Or metformin, which is meant for women or people with diabetes, but they just give metformin like nothing to young women. Oh, you have acne? Here's metformin. Or here's birth control pill. But like, that's what they know. So when you come with bloating or tired, they'll just say, "We'll stress less. We'll drink more water. We'll lose some weight. Eat less." That's all they'll tell you because they don't know any better. They don't study prevention. They're made to make money
Right.
off of your disease.
And it's funny that you should say that, because when I went on sick leave, one of the things I heard from everybody, doctor, psychologist, a therapist, friends, family, pastor, oh, you have to take care of yourself. You've got way so much on your plate. You got to take care of yourself. I kept hearing that over and over and over again. You know what no one told me to do? No one told me how.
Right.
Not one person said, Olu, take care of yourself and this is how.
Yeah.
Olu, do this and this is how you take care. All they kept saying was exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. Stress less.
Yeah, stress. Sleep some more.
Sleep.
Don't like you do too much. Get some help. like
it's not a solution.
Right, and that's why my niche is prioritizing self-care. Right,
it's important.
It's really important to take that break. As I said to you earlier, no is a full sentence. No.
Yeah. We're in the era where old medicine is the medicine.
When I lived back home, I'm from Africa. My mother's from Monrovia, Liberia. My father's from Lagos, Nigeria. And I lived back home from 1980 to 1985. So I was born and raised here. I was 11 going on 12 when I went back home. So all I know is this Western world. And you go back home and it's, oh, so-and-so's not feeling well. Okay, go in the back. Get me that. See that dark leaf? Get me some of that. Okay. And that's what we did.
All right, so we'll bring it back. Okay.
Well, this is part
I know,
of,
we will.
Of women.
I know.
How
so,
you get to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, the other thing is women uplifting women. Some of the things, like, did you find that mentorship helped you along the journey? I know that we have like the support with family wise, right? Like, so did you have a lot of like coaches, or like when you were going through, because I mean, you've grown tremendously from even 2020. I think we've all come through that journey where we've grown a lot. Like, even when you first started your business, did you find that you had a mentor, or did you needed a mentor, or like, or was it just try and error? So like, let's say, again, people are maybe stuck in a position, or, and most of the times when we talk about celebrating women, and the celebration is mostly done from a corporate level. But I do believe that we need to celebrate women no matter which level is at. And this was why I decided to do this show, because I feel that, women, like people in general, but women most of the time, I think we have certain shortcomings because we are still known to be the mother who is the mother of earth, mother of children, mother of the house, and most of the time the female is left behind, right, to still do everything. And if here they're watching you and thinking, wow, here these are three successful women. What if they wanted to come into a business, whether it's your business or any business, like what would be something that they can, start with, a mentor, or like even what courses do you think, do you think it's a course thing that like what would you recommend to somebody who may want to transition as a business owner?
Yeah. Firstly, I think just like getting in touch with your intuition is very important. Like when you have that gift and you get silent, you get a lot of those answers for you. But there's lots of things like books that you feel called to. There's e-course. I've done more like e-courses and books, not so much hired a mentor. But I just, when whoever author I resonated with, I would just read those books or get those e-courses. For guidance, because I don't have any business experience, like knowledge. Like I didn't go to school for business. I only know the health side. So
that's where I can help you on that part.
Yeah.
Sure. So for sure, I know Shanaz always have this question, something she'll ask, and see, this is sometimes I think where it's important, because we all have our gifts in different areas, and this is why collaboration is important, because you have your gift when it comes to the health part, but then my gift is the numbers, right? And then Olu gift is a lifestyle of how to maintain that balance again with taking care of herself and the people around her, and that's important. So if anyone wanted to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you? Like how can they reach you if they needed your help? Like maybe before we get to there, tell them a little bit more of if somebody was dealing with an issue, give them a story, like how to reach you, on the process to get you, how they can contact you.
Yeah, for sure. So my website is SHAZNESS wellness .com, or you can find me Shazness Wellness Instagram or YouTube or TikTok. But essentially, on my website, you can book a call with me, like a one-on-one call with me. That's probably the best place to get in touch with me, or you can send me a DM on Instagram. Yeah, but essentially, I offer a free mini course. That's usually how I help people at first, which was saving my time, but creating like a course that you can just watch through everything that I know and what I teach. And if it resonates with you, you can apply to work with me.
Awesome. And Olu?
For me, I'm going to go back to the question that you asked her about mentorship and coaches. One of the things they pressed upon when I was getting certified was that as a coach, I had to have coaches, mentors. So you'll find all coaches have a coach, a mentor coach, and to collaborate. So all three of us can be motivational life coaches, but have different styles of
Right.
coaching.
Yeah.
So
Or different gifts.
yeah. So if somebody needs a motivational coach, they may not like my in your face kind of approach, or they may find you too quiet, and they might find Jackie just right. So they always talk about the fact that we should be willing and ready to say, I don't think we work together, personality or whatever, but I think Jackie will be great. So those are the two things they harped on when I was getting certified, which I carry through to today. For me, I've made it very easy for everybody to find me. It's just my name, Olumili. OLU is my first name. MUILI is my last name. So my website is olumili.com. My email is info@olumili.com. YouTube is my name. Instagram is my name. And Facebook, you can friend me on Facebook by looking for my name. And I'm the same as you can go to my website and book a discovery call with me, a 30-minute consultation call where we can speak on what your goals are, your expectations are, what you're looking for in a coach. And we can decide in that call if we're a good fit, and then we take it from there. I also have my women's conferences that are a really great landing ground to come and hear me speak and what I have to offer, and just get a really good idea of my heart posture, what kind of coach I am, what's important to me, and why it's important to me that you are okay and that you recognize that there's nothing wrong with you, regardless of how bad your finances are or your marriage may or may not be. There's nothing wrong with you. It just means that you're having a thing. So that's for me. That's how you can find me on all of my platforms.
So before, also, Olu is having another women's annual conference that is coming up on April 26, 2025. And I also would like you to talk a little bit about that, how they can get tickets, where is it going to be held. I will also be one of her guests on that day. So I would like you guys to come out, support us all. But tell us a little bit, how can they get tickets? If they wanted to be a part of the second women's conference on April 26th, how can they get tickets? Or, even if they're uncertain of whatnot, how can they reach you, or to, share that a little bit?
The second annual Let's Talk Women's Conference, as Jackie said, is coming up on Saturday, April 26, 2025. The first conference was entitled Let's Talk About Life Lessons Learned. The second one is entitled Let's Talk About the Hidden Areas of Our Lives. A lot of what I talk about is things that I personally have gone through that I recognize other women have and or are going through. The tickets can be purchased on my website, www.olumili.com. They are $157.50. That's the early bird rate. You want to get them now because the after early bird rate goes up quite high. We're going to have 6 incredible speakers led by myself as keynote speakers. And my 2 guest speakers are returning from last year's conference as keynote speakers. And then I have 3 incredible new guest speakers, Jackie being one of them. Kalina is from the deaf and hard of hearing community, and Karina is a budget doctor. You can also win tickets to the conference by watching my YouTube lives every other Thursday. We had one this past Thursday, so the next one will be next week, Thursday, not this Thursday coming up. And anybody who watches those lives have a chance to win a free ticket to the conference. What do you expect to get? A room full of motivation, empowerment, encouragement, support, inspiration, connections, communities. One of the comments from last year's conference that put the biggest smile on my face was someone wrote me and said, what's this buzz I'm hearing about? Apparently there was a conference I missed this weekend. How did I not know about this? Where was it? What happened? I need to know. I need to be there to the next one. When's the next one? And that put a big smile on my face. I actually met the lady. I walked into an event and she's like, Olu? And she's like, oh, it's me. And it was that lady who sent me that comment. So that's how you can find me. Olu Muley is how you can find me on all of my platforms, and tickets can be purchased on my website.
And they can follow you on Instagram too?
Instagram, YouTube, Facebook.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. So we are going to wrap this up. And I want to say thank you, both beautiful ladies, for joining me today to celebrate International Women's Day. And for being my guest, because a lot of my entrepreneurs constantly ask, when to incorporate, if I should incorporate, tax question, even though I'm not. I'm a financial advisor. But there's a lot of stuff that we have to do behind the scene, even to prepare for taxes. And so I had decided, because, to help everybody that is actually always asking, especially my daughter-in-law to the left here, I had decided to put together a guide. It's an ebook, and today both of my ladies will get a copy of the ebook. At the back of it, you will actually have an income statement, which is kind of like your expenses that you can put, because when you are incorporated, is one of the things that you do have to do. Whether or not you do have an accountant, you have to still keep track of your expenses. So I've actually put together, if you wanted to calculate your mileage on your car, those kind of things will be at the back of it. This is just a guide, because we do have the legality lady on the right-hand side will tell you, did you pass this by me before? It has a disclosure. It is nothing to do with taxes. It's all about just like you went to school, and there's just information about all the stuff. Like, for instance, if you wanted to prepare for your T2 taxes, it will literally tell you, the balance sheet, just everything, just like if you were at school. The same information here. I'm not telling you how to do the tax. I'm just giving you the guidelines as to how to, what you need to do. And some will relate to some and some may not. Again, if you subscribe, subscribe to my channel, or you even add yourself to my corporation, which is Notable Wealth Management Inc. And it's actually nwninc.ca, and subscribe to my webpage. You will get a copy. It actually is an ebook of this, but today my two beautiful ladies will actually get an ebook sent to them. And again, you could probably get something. I might get some comments back from Miss Olu here as the legal girl. And the other thing about it is that Olu helped me incorporate my business. And I mean, that was 6 years ago. So, Olu does have a lot of talent when it comes to the legal side of it. So, it's always nice to have people. I said, networking is an amazing thing. And it's really nice to have people in that network that, even if it's just asking the questions. And the reason I also did this is that my incorporation did not cost me anything to incorporate, being incorporated through the government, because again, I did a lot of my own research, so I didn't have to bring a lawyer into it. And when it came to the registration, I was able to go through Olu, and she was able to complete the part, which is the registration part,
the paperwork
through the ministry, right? So again, I'm not saying that you should or should not, but sometimes it's the options. We have options, and it would be great to talk to other people other than just going straight to a lawyer. But again, if you want to reach me, it's if you want to subscribe and to my webpage, it's nwminc.ca. And we will see you in the next show. And remember, money is for you.
Money is for you.
Money is for you. That was not rehearsed.
That's great. If you like to see more, like, follow, and subscribe. And remember, money is for you.